We need to...
Looks perfect.
You think that's good?
Yeah. We're back.
Oh, just this motherfucker.
All right. Yeah, we're back.
No idea what episode.
14.
You were so wrong last time. Is it
12.
Is it possible to build a sustainable audience putting a podcast out every 7 weeks?
Dude, this was... yeah. It's kind of sad.
We're not making excuses. We're
No
done
more
with excuses. We fish every day.
We are not on a schedule here. It's just whenever we can put one out.
Tell them what you had to do. You had to buy a fucking house so we could do podcasts.
We bought a new studio here in Wanchese.
We're coming at you.
We are in the wheelhouse, which is what I named my trailer here in Wanchese.
It's not the Moose Lodge.
No, you call it the Moose Lodge.
Anyway, Dave didn't even want to set up the backdrop or anything tonight. He just wanted to go. He wanted to wing it.
Yep.
One light, 2 mics, and go at it.
No topic.
No topic whatsoever.
No guest.
Just we couldn't find a guest.
No, we've been fishing hard, which I really don't like that excuse, and a lot of guys use it when they don't update their websites and their Instagrams and their social media. I've been fishing hard. It's an excuse. You got to stay on top of it, and we have not been doing that. So,
are you going to apologize? You're going to cry?
This is it.
ask for the forgiveness.
We won't let it happen
come on,
again.
Man. It does. It takes a little bit more effort and energy to put one of these out than it does to post a picture on Instagram.
Absolutely. Yep, it sure does.
But
here we are. We're doing it. And we're going to try to jam them out every 7 weeks.
Say it. Don't say it. Just be stoked when you get that notification.
We're going to do better. We've been saying that since day one.
We have. Yeah,
really
we're going to get going. I think day one was the best we ever did. We got one out like the next week or something after day one.
You want to do a little fishing report?
No. I want an observation I made, and I just said it to you, but if we don't put if I don't post on my social media, my followers start to fall like the leaves at my house.
Yeah.
If we don't post here, we just keep picking up followers.
Man, it's a double-edged sword, There's I hate to do it just because you don't really want people to know what you're doing and where you are, and but it's very essential these days to just stay on top of it and
we did a
stay
whole
in front of
episode
people.
about that.
Yeah, so it's it's just one of the things you don't want to do, but you got to do. And I pretty much, everybody worked at a restaurant. It's like your side work, man. You just got to do it.
Yeah,
it's part of the program. And I tell you, when I usually will hop on my social media and my pictures and everything, I'll post it on my ride back into the dock, sitting in the tower. That's when I do it. Otherwise, I just forget. So I'm just that's like cruising home. Everything's done.
You're a lot better.
I just hop on there, throw up a little report. It's not very detailed, and just keep it going.
I'm so lame. I bought new presets.
I do. Put them on your computer.
I go to
edit.
I go airdrop to Lightroom. I go from Lightroom.
But you've been getting a lot of compliments about your.
I got one compliment.
I thought it was 2.
I go Lightroom to Photoshop, back to Lightroom,
yeah,
and then save it from a TIFF to a JPEG.
Well, that's impressive.
And it's not.
I used to bring my DSLR camera on the boat every day and took pictures, uploaded to the computer. But I don't know. The cell phone's pretty much getting it done these days. The iPhone.
They're nice. We did a whole episode about that.
Yeah, we don't have to circle back on that.
Tonight, I need to start talking about who gives us gifts and promotions before we do the episode, because I'm pretty bad about giving them a mention at the end.
Yeah. So tonight we have a little Q&A trivia question, and our sponsor this evening is Ocean's East Bait and Tackle right there in Whalehead Junction. The previous whalebone tackle. They've got just about everything you need.
They are rigged up.
They've been kind of my go-to stop in the mornings. Fresh bait. I really like their hook selection. They've got a wide variety of all the circle hooks we use for bait fishing.
They do. They got reels. They got all the Z-Mans.
Yep.
Got all
Z-Mans.
kinds of different jig heads. No, they're really rigged up, man. I'm stoked to have more competition down here in the tackle.
Yeah.
And they're really good to guides as far as letting you set up an account.
They do. They take care of us for sure.
So check them out if you can. Oceans East.
Yep.
Whalebone used to be Whalebone Tackles on the Causeway. Nags Head.
Yep. Cool.
They'll be sponsoring the giveaway tonight. Tell you what that is when we get to it. When we come up with it.
When we come up with it, hopefully within the next 10 minutes.
I already know what it's going to be.
So let's do a quick fishing report. Maybe a Cobia season recap. I have not been doing this all that long, but this was probably my worst Cobia season.
It's no question about it. So stoked. Talked about it for months and months about getting,
it's the only thing we have to look forward to in the wintertime.
So rigged up. New reels, new rods. I had new rods. All kinds of bucktails, man. Some dudes gave me bucktails to try. Can't even use them.
We just got really plagued by bad weather here.
And then for us down here, it's the kiss of death, man, is when you hear they're fucking them up in the bay.
Oh, yeah.
That
was like before our season even started.
Yeah, we had one day and then like 2 days later, you hear, they're fucking them up in the bay. And you're going, oh, man, where'd it go? What happened?
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, well, there's fish in Moorhead. And I'm like, dude, those fish don't even matter. I think those fish don't come here.
I agree with you.
I'm pretty convinced at this point.
I agree with you.
There's no... I have no idea, and I'm sure satellite tags and all that will tell us a different story. But at this point, I don't believe in a south to north migration. I think it's a west, or I'm sorry, east to west migration.
Sounds like, yeah, that's what
some of our fish, obviously, we do see them swimming north, but the fish that are coming into Moorhead are not coming up here. Yeah. Not very many of them.
They fish on those things all summer long in their big inlets.
And they go in their inlets. They go spawn in their sounds, and it's not something that we can say, oh, they're catching them in Moorhead. We should catch them in a couple of days. Like it doesn't happen that way. Maybe it used to, but not anymore. And as far as like numbers and everything, we see way more fish than Hatteras does. It's like they're coming straight in from offshore and going up.
When we have the big show, when they first show up, first couple days, we'll always see them coming in from the southeast.
Right, exactly.
You see them, here they come, man. They're coming in from the southeast, big places of them.
Big pods.
Yeah, so I know some guys have caught a bunch on the bottom. They saw them on the bottom.
Yeah.
So I reckon they just stayed on the bottom. And
one of the guys in my marina, he caught like a 35-pounder tile fishing the other day, 250 foot of water on the bottom. So I think that's where they spend their winters, and then they come in from offshore, and they end up in the Chesapeake Bay.
And
they don't end up here. Once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah, we don't have much. Just crumbs.
Yeah,
just crumbs.
Even when I started, like, there was enough to go out there and scrap out a couple on a pretty day all summer long.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't seem to happen
Things
anymore.
Are different. Things have changed, just like we've talked about it.
Migratory patterns are changing. They're going further north. They're not really staying here. Yeah. There's not a lot of residential fish here like there used to be. Why?
Yeah, I used to make
Who knows? That's a $1 million question.
All summer long, slow trolling live baits up and down those changes, man, having some really big days.
Yeah.
Just doesn't happen anymore. We've spent more time now talking about Cobia tonight than our season lasted this year.
Yeah. So there was some big days, though. March 5th was a pretty big day.
You mean May 5th?
Yeah. Felt like March 5th.
It did feel like March.
May 5th was a big showing. I think we caught 17 that day.
Oh.
It was
That's
pretty good.
I didn't catch 17. I was double digits, but not 17.
Yeah.
You got me. You've got me in totals.
We had one more day. I want to say it was like the 13th or something like that. We caught
up in Nags Head, right?
We caught 13.
Yeah, you had a good day in Nags Head.
Yeah.
I didn't do that either.
But nothing huge. I saw a couple real big fish, but I think the biggest one we had this year was like 55 pounds.
Nope, got me again. He just put it on me all summer long.
I think there was a lot more days that you caught him that I didn't, though.
No.
For sure.
I don't think so.
I
think you caught him 5 days, and I caught him 4 days.
Yeah.
Enough where you could tell somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
we were actually really depressed about talking about the Cobia season recap. Just gonna bring it back.
all this is doing is rubbing salt into a wound.
I fished from Oregon Inlet to Duck Research Pier a few days ago and saw one fish. And that was it. I was like, I'm taking my Cobia gear off the boat. I'm not doing this again. You get sucked out there on pretty days, and you just think, maybe there'll be a few, and sometimes there are, but for the most part, man, it's not a great experience for charters, especially if you have 3 or 4 people.
It's not. You tell somebody. What I told them the other day was, hey man, one of y'all can get in the tower with me. It's going to be really cool. You're going to see some turtles, some race, some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
The other 2 of y'all, you're not going to do anything.
You're going to sit down there and wonder what in the fuck you're doing. Why am I paying money for this boat ride? I could have went on a $25 dolphin tour.
Saw more excitement.
It's sad. I mean, when it happens, it's great, but man, when it's not happening, it's a long day. And I don't do it, man. There's some guys around here that they'll grind it out, and they'll stick a 40-pounder right out of the inlet, after 7 hours of looking, but that's just not part of my program.
3 guys on the boat, 1 fish.
I got ADD. It's way too bad for that. I'd just as soon catch 100 croakers and look 7 hours for 1 cobia.
As much as I love doing it, man, it does get old, and I feel bad. It's bad for the clients.
Yeah.
What's good for the clients, it's kind of cool to see, is how big our speckled trout are getting.
Oh my gosh, dude!
I never thought I'd be in the Sound in May, speckled trout fishing, and in June, speckled trout fishing already. Transitioned to that, and it's because every day right now you have a legitimate shot at citation trout.
Oh yeah,
somebody's putting one.
Somebody is bringing in a citation trout where I keep my boat every single day, whether it's on cut bait, jig. Just whatever. There's some really big trout around. Maybe it's because we've had mild winters for 3 or 4 years. I think we have really good water quality right now. I know that some guys have been catching bluefish and Spanish like 10 miles up the Sound. So we got some good salty water, and I think we're gonna have an awesome summer on that stuff.
A lot of casting.
It's a lot of casting, but man, you get some anglers that are, some good hardcore freshwater fishermen or bass fishermen that can cast and that they're just used to it. You got a shot at a trophy once in a lifetime fish right now.
And we're pretty fortunate right now that not only trout, but just go half a mile the other direction and it's good red fishing.
Yeah.
So we got something that pulls hard.
Dude, it's great fishing, man. I'll do that every single day. I love it.
I've been doing it every day.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's hard. I can't even imagine 20 years ago talking about me speckled trout fishing. All I wanted to do is go in the ocean and chase. And now.
Well, one of the things about fishing on the Outer Banks and charter fishing on the Outer Banks is you better be ready to adapt.
And that's one of the cool things. Well, I love talking about the business, man, is that you got to be able to learn something new, because if you don't, your dock partner's going to put it on you every day.
You got to have 100 bags of tricks for sure. And I've got some heavy hitters parked on all sides of me, and it just keeps you pushing hard. And if you come in without a cooler full of fish, you're just going to get sacked up.
It's so embarrassing.
Your people are going to be bummed.
It's so embarrassing when you come in.
You better be holding when you come into the dock where I'm at, man. And you too. Probably you even more so. But we've got some great fishermen there in Wanchese Marina, and it just keeps you fired up and motivated.
It's such a bad feeling, man, when you come in and you pull into the slip and you don't want to look at your party, and your party looks at the boat next to you, then they turn around and look back at you, and you're just like, look.
Well, the whole time you're like, this is slow today, man. Everybody is struggling. It's just one of those days, and then you show up and dudes have like 30 fish lined up, and you're like, all right, see you. Never.
Let me give you somebody's number. They could probably.
The other day when I fished from Duck Pier and back, man, my guys just pretty much paid me and left. I don't think they even said a word. I was just like,
this is so fun to talk about, because Dave last week was, the guy you wanted to be with. This guy, I mean, he was throwing down, catching fish.
I don't know about
head wouldn't fit into the moose lodge here, the new place. A week later, he's telling me his people got off the boat and wouldn't look at him. And
You gotta have that, man.
It's
It's
just
a roller coaster.
such a fucking humbling job sometimes.
It is, man. It really is. Even this morning, I had a really slow trip, and just when you think you've got them on a schedule and you just know what to expect out there, they just fucking throw you a curveball every time.
I had a trip last week, Thursday afternoon last week. The dudes were so stoked, and they could angle, and we caught one bluefish.
Oh.
I caught him, snagged him in the stomach.
Dude, how often is it that you have like really good fishermen and you don't produce, and you have people that don't even know like what they're even doing, and you have like huge catches? I swear that happens to me all the time.
And that's one of the cool things about guiding, because you got to have a short memory, man. You just got to you wake up and you go the next day, man. Because and we talked about this. It's still hard as long as you do it not to feel like a fraud sometimes. The days that you don't produce, you're just going, what am I doing? Have I not learned anything ever doing this? How did Joe Schmo over there, his first year in business, come in and throw down on me like that? How's that happen?
There's a lot of guys that are in their first year in business, man. It's I tell you, without trying to sound like just a salty old grumpy like charter fisherman that's just washed up, how do you not complain about the amount of boats that are out on the water these days?
I think we talked about it in the first and third episode. It's a low-cost business, relatively low-cost business to get into.
Yeah.
You can start a business if you find it right for less than $20,000,
right,
or whatever we said before. Still cheap.
Well, I'm not even necessarily talking about charter boats. I think it's just a mixed bag of a lot more recreational boaters. I don't know if just people have more flexible schedules and just more people own boats or whatever. Obviously there's a lot more charter boats out there, but there's just a ton of recreational boaters too, and they're getting more dialed into like all the programs, all the things that we do every day. And and we're not killing ourselves. We're guilty because I'm sure we are guilty of it, and we're contributing to it. And
that's a better word.
It's contributing because it's just, it goes back to, you have to post, you have to stay in front of people to, stay booked and stay busy. But at the same time, you're basically just giving away so much free information for guys that aren't fishing every day. And
all they got to do is wait.
They can, if they're not zooming into your backgrounds of your photos, they're seeing where you were. I think one thing that I can improve and that would just kind of help the whole situation. I'm not saying people are following me around, but maybe just do like a week recap or something. You know what I mean? Rather than post every single day what you caught. And then, I'm sure a handful of people saw where you were and what you did. And then, next thing you know, those places are just getting clogged up. And there's some areas on the other side on the backside of Wanchese that I can't even fish anymore. There's literally, I'll say it because I don't even really care. Cedar Bush Bay, there was probably 12 to 15 boats in there today.
Yeah,
and where we used to fish those cut throughs, where it would be like there's one boat in there. If there's a boat there, you don't go there. There was literally like 3 boats in the cut through. Like, where I feel like these guys could cast to each other's boats, and I'm just like, this is insane. Are more people owning boats now? Are more people catching on to what we're doing? Do people have more flexible schedules where they're working virtually and being able to work wherever they are? Either whatever it is, there's more people on the water, and we're having to kind of get away from the crowds to make our days.
We are, and you are sounding salty.
It is. Yeah, I know. I didn't even want to talk about it because I didn't want to sound like that guy. But it is an issue.
I brought this up as a topic, and you're running with it. Yes,
yeah.
You are running with it. But it like where we're fishing down south.
Yeah.
That used to be 2 spots down there that we fished, and there was only a handful of us that fished there for years. And we'd anchor up, and we thought it was really site specific.
Right.
But having a lot of people out there has forced us. We're fishing miles and miles further away than we used to fish.
Yeah.
And you fish some places today, and I'm not going to blow it, that I would have never thought about fishing years ago. Some water that's that area. I would have never thought about that.
I mean, I think there's a lot of untapped territory.
Yeah, that's
down
that one place that we're fishing. That one place.
Yeah.
That you turned me on to.
That stuff is not as affected by the crowds as it is.
No,
back
but that's
here.
what. Yeah, but still, there was probably 20 boats down there where it used to be
Yeah.
2, 3
Yeah.
boats down there.
Well, even today, I had a guy who literally, I mean, I didn't have anybody for 2 miles around me. I mean, I was the only boat in sight. And a boat came steaming straight to me and probably stopped about 300 yards and started drifting directly downwind of me. And it was like, I mean, there's so much water out here.
So-
Why are we doing this?
So a nice way to say this is if you give each other some room, especially if you're in your area that has 30 miles of fishable water,
Yeah.
which behind P Island probably does.
Yeah.
And don't be that guy that puts your trolling motor down on the drum flat and starts moving back and forth on it.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, just do what everyone else is doing and try to, stay with the program. And I mean, a part of me has actually enjoyed it because I don't know if I told you, but I did not bring any of my waypoints to my new boat. I didn't transfer I started over from scratch. And like sometimes I'm kicking myself about it, but other times I'm like, this
Did
is
you
great.
sell your boat with the waypoint?
I did.
Oh, you tool.
Yeah, I did. He's got all my waypoints. He's got like 500 of them. But
Oh, Reese is going to come unglued on you.
yeah, that's all right. He's not fishing all that. He's not a charter boat. But man, it's been kind of nice. Like just starting over from scratch. I mean, a lot of stuff. Obviously, we have a lot of land points or landmarks where I know where it is. But I mean, there's a ton of stuff that we fish that is just out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but it's once you learn what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving that away. But once you learn what you're looking for, it's not rocket science, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
And because I lost all my numbers last year, my machine I lost it all.
Yeah.
So I had to start over. I had to get the number, how to get into where we're fishing.
Exactly. That's been the hardest part. Is like just knowing where to run.
So I don't
you get
run
a cloudy day, and I remember calling you the other day. I'm like, dude, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? It's just, I mean, that's the worst part about it. But when you know the bottom that you're looking for and the water that you're looking for, and I don't know, I've kind of enjoyed just like starting over. I got some new waypoints that I've never fished before and been fishing them. And I mean, I think every year you could probably reset your shit and start over and fish all new stuff because it just constantly changes anyway.
Yeah.
And
A lot of places it does.
there's some deep water structure and stuff that I kind of wish I still had, like off the southern end of Wanchese and some of that old just rough bottom that used to be real good. But I mean, I got a nice bottom machine. One day I just need to run out there and look for it, But yeah, it's been crowded water, but
what else
we're still
bothers
catching.
you? What else bothers you? Now that you got it going, salty, grumpy.
God, I know. I don't even want to post this. I don't want to sound like that guy. I'm really not. I mean, I'm glad. I think everybody's out there, having success. And
How about clients that cast into the wind with braid?
dude, sometimes you wonder like how people would think some of the things they do are like the right thing to do. You forget that like they just have no idea on what they're doing. You like just assume.
How many wind knots can you pick out without getting frustrated?
I mean, it's our fault. I mean, we should never assume that we drag them out there and not have to tell them what to do. But yeah, I mean that's a big one that I have to kind of coach every day. Is you just want to constantly throw downwind. You don't want to throw behind the boat where you just drifted through in 2 foot of water.
If I give you the opportunity to throw downwind, take it.
Yeah, I mean what I've been doing, even when I've been anchoring on my side cleat, and like the boat's just been sitting side to, and everybody lines up on one side of the boat, and you just all throw downwind. You know what I mean? Like not even side wind at all. It's just so critical with our, detecting a trout bite. And we always have so much wind where you can't throw side to and have a loop that goes, 7 miles to the side. You're going to get a bite and not even know it. The only people that are going to catch fish are the ones that are throwing straight downwind and they have, tension.
I do know.
On their line. You know that.
I know.
You know that 100 times over. But it's just, I think that's like one of the biggest things about being a good guide is taking the time to like tell every single person on your boat, you know, give them their best opportunity, and not just like a lot of times I'll see like a lot of newer guides anchor their boat, and I will see the actual captain positioned in the best possible part of the boat to catch fish, and they'll hook a fish and hand it off. And I mean, that's going to produce more fish, but you're not guiding. You're not, you know what I mean? You're not helping your clients to catch their own fish and teach them something, or, you know, I think they're going to have more fun. You know, this goes back to the discussion we had about hooking cobias. They're going to have more fun learning and, you know, figuring out themselves and hooking their own fish than watching you on the back of the boat catch all the fish and hand them to them. And I'm guilty. I mean, I used to do it too. I wanted to bring in the most fish possible, and I would, you know, do whatever it took, whether that be me, fish, and I'm
gonna give you the opportunity to cast downwind. If you choose to sit and eat chips and not cast downwind, I'm casting downwind.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do so much. Eventually, you're just like, okay, he's just not going to get on the program.
Let me tell you about what's really bad is when you're trying to teach, like you go and cast downwind, jig it, reel in the slack, pop, let it pause, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And they do it the exact opposite, and then they catch a fish doing it.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then now you're never going to get them to do it the right way again. And they're going to keep doing it that way.
Yeah.
It happened to me.
Dude,
recently.
I had a guy on the boat. This is classic. I had a guy on the boat a couple of days ago. I hope he doesn't see this. He was a great guy. Actually, I don't even care if he sees it. I'm not trying to rib him. But he brought his own tackle box. And we got to the first spot. And, you know, I was kind of telling him what we're doing and how to present the bait and everything like that. And he immediately cuts my rig off and puts on a wooden popper that's like this long.
Like a cedar plug?
It was like a cedar plug that he had since 1965. And I was
Zane
like,
Grey gave it to him?
I was like, okay. All right. And then the whole time I was like, if this motherfucker catches a big fish.
catch that
I just knew like a 10-pound trout was going to eat that thing. But anyway, he went through his whole tackle box and just, we were catching him and he wasn't. And he was throwing Hopkins spoons in like a foot of water, just collecting 7 pounds of grass. And, I mean, I didn't even care. You know, I told him, I was like, this is what we got. You know, these lures work best for this situation because of this and this, that, and the other. And it was pretty clear that what I said didn't matter. So I just let him roll on, and he went through his whole tackle box. I mean, I started with like 3 foot of leader, and by the last bait he had on, it was about this long. And finally, at the end, he like pretty much got like the closest thing he had to what we were using, and caught a couple fish. But you know, some guys you just can't, you know, help. But
stoked he'd been the Bass Pro and won.
I don't know. He had some good fishing down in Florida or something. Thought he was gonna bring all that stuff up here, but I guess what I'm getting at is some guys you just can't, you know, they're just going to do their own thing, and you know they know way more than you do, and that's fine. But
what I always people ask, you know, what do you want? I want somebody that doesn't know anything.
Yeah,
somebody that knows it all.
Yeah,
that's great, because if you can take the boat, you can just leave me the money and I'll stay home all day. I'm fine with that. If you can get her back in the slip, go fishing.
I mean, it is nice to have some people that know how to cast and know how to fish, but
when somebody gets on and tells me,
but the people that don't know what they're doing and they have no expectations, man, that's usually a good trip.
That is a good trip
because they listen, and
women are
very good at listening.
Not trying to generalize, but women are great because they're great about learning. I think men, we're genetically disposed as hunter and gatherers. We genetically we've been providing our whole lives.
Totally.
Since we're in the caves, and
now I've noticed, man, the women will listen and they will apply what you tell them, and they get it done. And you know, it's not like we know everything, but we're just out here every day.
Yeah, we just get a chance
subtle, you know, there's just little subtle techniques and in the presentation and the positioning on the boat and the wind and you know, you can put all these little pieces together, and it gives everybody a chance. But I tell you what, when somebody doesn't, you know, when somebody just doesn't do what you recommend, it's a noticeable difference.
Yeah,
it really is.
And if they catch a fish, you're done. You're done. You don't have to listen to you the rest of the day.
They might luck into a couple, but overall, you know, their chances are a lot better if they listen to their guide.
Yeah, then I get to fish downwind the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, we're getting up there. We had nothing to talk about.
I feel like we are
minutes
the saltiest, grumpiest charter captains
haven't even
ever.
We're not even close to getting grumpy yet.
I didn't ever want to be this guy when I started. I never wanted to be the guy that, you know, the ones that were talking shit about me when I started.
Should I post some of your text messages?
Please no.
All right.
But I tell you what, man, there's a lot of new guys, but there's a lot of good guys.
Oh man, the game now is so much more competitive than it used to be because there's so many guys that catch.
There's a lot of guys that catch. There's a lot of guys that are really cool, really humble dudes that get it done, and it's fun, man. It's just
I can only think about one guy that's got a head that wouldn't fit in this room. I mean, really, most guys are pretty humble. I mean, there's one guy that I know that.
Yeah.
But
who is that guy? Maybe that's the Ocean's East trivia question.
No, that is not the Ocean's East trivia question. All right, man. Ocean's East trivia question is: what's Dave's biggest trout ever on his boat?
On this new boat?
No, anytime. Do you know it?
It's sitting right there on the fridge.
Okay, well, the camera's not looking that way.
Weight, length.
It's your question or your answer. Do you know it?
Why don't we do weight?
All right. Dave's biggest speckled trout to date.
Should we pan over to it? It's actually, I mounted it. It's sitting right there on top of the fridge.
No, that gives it away.
Yeah, it doesn't give it away. I don't have it written
No,
on
ego
there.
king. We're not panning over to your fish. All right. Answer it on YouTube, IG. I don't care where you answer it. Dave's biggest speckled trout, pound-wise. Ocean's East will give you a whatever size long sleeve shirt you wear. All right?
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, Jimmy. Thanks,
Yep.
man.
That's awesome.
Go check those guys out, Ocean's East, man.
So our next episode, we got Captain Zach Coyle.
So we think, if he can make it.
No, if we say it and make it like a thing.
Captain Zach Coyle.
It's official.
He's getting a plug. Has anybody got a plug before? Zach Coyle.
Yeah,
Fish
Zach
and
Coyle,
Fowl.
Fish and Fowl Charters. He's obviously a fishing captain and also a duck hunting guide. He's got some cool stories for both of those.
Yeah,
So,
want to hear him.
we'll get him on here in the next 7 weeks.
7 weeks. All right, man. Thanks for checking it out, all right? Check us out on YouTube and the IG, man.
Yep.
Also on all the Spotify's, Apple Podcasts.
Yep, thanks.